Well, welcome back to another edition of the New Mexican Sports Podcast. I'm your sports editor, Will Weber, as always, joined by James Barron. James, you and I played basketball last week, and ever since then, I've had a hard time walking up the steps in my house, which tells me two things. First, I'm out of shape, and two, knee cartilage actually disappears the older you get. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. I've,
oh,
I've, I've, I've already gotten the death sentence for my knees from my doctor. He's like, yeah, you just need to stop doing anything, any type of physical activity that involves running.
yeah, I'm going to be the same way for I don't know how long, but I
Yeah.
just when you try to walk up steps, you can't, and your knee looks like there's a tiny water balloon inside of it. Probably not a good sign. So that's where I am.
Better start looking for the best knee replacement you can find, man. That's all I can tell you.
It sucks too because we went through an entire school year and all that standing on the sidelines and walking back and forth. And now's my time to relax. Now's my time to relax. Now I can't. So yeah, there's that. So happy summer to you and me. But
yeah, look, I know, man. We're gonna see you wheeling around in a wheelchair come August, aren't we?
Well, I've already got. Look, I know you're getting these too, the AARP stuff. So it shows you how old we're getting.
Yeah.
Old enough to join the senior tour.
They're looking for your money.
Yeah. So, a couple things last week I want to touch on. First of all, we'll talk about the North Stars Athletes of the Year, which those packages ran Sunday. One of them was kind of a no-brainer. The other one created a little bit of a stir, which was the girls. Apparently. Yeah. And that was your story. Naturally, James Barron rocking the boat with your stuff.
All because I had the audacity to choose somebody from Indian school.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. The thought process behind picking that person. Because look, let's face it, the male athlete of the year, Kamal Stith, was a no-brainer. It was a pretty easy pick.
Yeah,
and that was a slam dunk choice. But the female one, there was a couple of viable options, but
absolutely.
The fact is, we went with an athlete from the Santa Fe Indian School for the first time since we've been doing this. Kind of speaks about maybe the changing dynamic of athletics. They've always had good athletes there, but now this year they had one worthy of that kind of praise. But I was struck by the feedback we got about that. Not everyone agreed with us. So it's all your fault. We can't go to Garden City. We can't go to Bayard.
Can't go to Cobre.
Can't go to Cobre. We can't go to Fuego games apparently because you're saying all sorts of nasty stuff now. But it's like, but I don't know now.
I thought the Fuego stuff was all you.
The Fuego, yeah, maybe, and we'll touch on the Fuego stuff because we got some Fuego news coming up. But let's talk about your choice to pick Riley from Santa Fe Indian School.
We're going to jump right into that.
Yeah, it's all your fault. Yeah,
all right.
Let's get into the blame game about why James ruined the Santa Fe New Mexican with the readership again.
Yeah, I know. Well, it really came down to three athletes. I mean, obviously, Cadence was one. The other one would have been Santa Fe Prep's Marley Ballou, especially considering the amount of success that she had on the soccer field and obviously in track and field, where she was clearly the best athlete, I think, in Santa Fe for track. And then the third option was Sophia Mieta, who was an outstanding soccer player, was our pick for our soccer player of the year on the girls' side. Helped St. Michael's get to the state championship, or win the state championship. In her final game, she scores the lone goal for them. So apropos for that, but she was also a state champion power lifter, and also was a part of the state championship track and field team, and was a part of relay teams that did not lose from the moment that she was on there since her freshman year. Ultimately, we went with Cadence, and I think a lot of it is just this. I mean, it was a close choice. I mean, Cadence was an outstanding basketball player, probably the best basketball player in the North, and I think some people could argue the best player in 3A, regardless of the school. And then on top of that, she was one of the top distance runners in cross country, finished third at the state cross country championships. Also won 2 state individual titles in the high jump and the 800, along with getting I believe it was the 2x4 and the medley relay teams on the podium. So really, I think out of the 23 points or 25 points that Santa Fe Indian School had, she had 15 of them. I mean, God, that's 2/3 of your team's points right there. I mean, granted, I mean they're not winning the state title like St. Mike's was on that end. But just her overall dominance and what she did was pretty remarkable to do it in 3 sports across the board. And quite honestly, I mean, how many times have we picked a St. Mike's athlete over the years for our athlete of the year? It seems like almost every year we have a St. Mike's athlete, and we've never done that with Santa Fe Indian School, and a lot of that is because they've never had somebody that was truly worthy of that distinction, and we finally had that happen here for the first time. And for Cadence, I think her backstory, especially the fact that her dad was a state champion distance runner for Santa Fe Indian School, as well as played on the basketball team. I mean, just made for a great story. And that's not to take anything away from Marley, not to take anything away from Sophia, but for us, Cadence really and truly, I felt was the premier athlete in northern New Mexico. Now there are going to be some people, mainly families, that don't like that decision, and they're going to obviously make their point and tell us how much they did not enjoy our section because their daughter or granddaughter, whomever they whatever the relation is, did not get the distinction. As a matter of fact, they told them to throw the paper away. Well, thank you for telling us.
There you go. No, but I like the choice. So you and I discussed it. We talked about it quite a bit, and I think they're just kind of. It's not an argument against the other two candidates, because you and I both interviewed both the other candidates that we had in mind, and it was just some of it comes down to subjectivity. Riley was we both saw her at the state basketball tournament. There were times where she carried that team.
No, absolutely
team needed it. And it's those little intangibles that don't show up in a stat sheet, but she does the thing. It's not to say that those other girls didn't do that, but we shouldn't besmirch her for being our pick. Like, we congratulate the other two for having an incredible season. And the thing that catches my eye is you and I have been accused numerous times of St. Mike's bias, which is probably true, because we devote a lot of our coverage to St. Mike's because they're good at everything.
They're successful. Yeah, they win just about everything.
Yeah, but to be accused of St. Mike's bias the other way, that we're going against them.
What? We hate St. Mike's?
Yeah. The flagship school for the city of Santa Fe is Santa Fe High, and in Capital, you can make a strong argument for them, and they struggle. It's hard to justify covering a team that's like 3-12 as opposed to a team that's in contention for a state championship. The storylines are just better.
Sport.
Yeah. It's not to say the athletes aren't good enough at those schools. I think if you put Santa Fe High, Capital, and the Indian School and St. Mike's all together, it'd be one heck of a district. But the problem is the enrollment boosts Santa Fe High and Capital into a different stratosphere. And so those athletes, by and large, get outshined by the competition that they're playing. So it kind of leaves our picks almost inevitably to the 3A schools and lower. And so that's where the argument comes down to. You can sit here and talk about the success that St. Mike's had, or what the Indian School did, or what Santa Fe Prep did. And look, I think in the entire time you and I have been putting these North Star athletes profiles together, so since 2010, you and I have worked together, this was probably the closest one. This one just felt like a really tough choice.
Absolutely.
We can't go with all three of them, because that would have just made us look weak. But then
we've never done co-athletes. Okay,
right.
So
and we should. You got to pick one, and that sparks the debate. And if you want to throw your paper away, you can throw it away. If you want to accuse us of being lazy, you can accuse us of being lazy. But we definitely did our homework on it. We researched it. We talked about it. We made, I think, what was the right decision.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And we've had situations. I mean, for a while there, because she started doing of her success as a freshman, we sat here and thought, we're gonna have to write about Riley. We're gonna have to talk about Riley Hunt for 4 years and have her be our athlete of the year every single year. And unfortunately, injuries and stuff kind of prevented that from happening. But I mean, for 2 straight years there, she was clearly the best athlete in the in the North. And I mean, nobody complained about that, because I mean,
our boss did.
Made that statement. She made the statement out there on the court and on the field. And I'll say this: it's the same thing with Cadence. I mean, really, when you think about it, I think you can make the argument she was the best athlete in at least 2 of those sports that she competed in. Compared to the other two, I think you can make an argument that Marley and Cadence were 1 and 1A in track and field. Sophia was clearly. Well, I wouldn't say clearly. I think a lot of it depended on who won that semifinal game between Santa Fe Prep and St. Mike's. At Santa Fe Prep, beaten St. Michael's and gotten to the championship game, we're selecting Marley. I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, because she would have carried that team to the championship match. Now, whether they win or not doesn't change that. It's just, whoever won that game was going to be our girls soccer athlete of the year, and it just so happened to be Sophia. So, if they want to make the argument that that we missed on a clear choice, it wasn't that clear cut. Especially if we're sitting here saying that if they'd lost in the semifinals, she wasn't going to be the soccer athlete of the year.
Well, now when we look ahead to next year, of course, we never know the way things are going to go. But when I look at the boys' landscape, there's a couple athletes that really jump to the forefront right now. That's like will prove us wrong. Jared Lewandowski from St. Mike's, another St. Mike's athlete. Ryan Hunt from St. Mike's. Nathaniel Gonzalez from
Las Vegas
Robertson. There are a couple athletes, really the Collado brothers from Santa Fe Indian School.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. And I think you probably agree, but I'd love to have somebody from Santa Fe High just step forward and become that person, because it's always fun to cover a Santa Fe High athlete because it so rarely happens.
It does. And the one time that we did actually choose a Santa Fe High athlete, it was Alex Wagner, and it was really based on the fact that he wasn't just the best soccer player in the North; he was the best soccer player in the state. And I mean, to that, and the fact that he was going to play at a Division I school, it kind of trumped everything else that we could do. And that was a year where, I mean, and we had that argument too, because I believe it was a choice between him and
house.
No, actually, it was Robertson. It was one of the Gonzalez brothers.
Oh, right,
It was Matthew Gonzalez. It was a decision between Alex Wagner and shoot, why am I blanking on his name again? Matthew's name. But we had a spirited discussion, not just amongst ourselves, but with a certain editor,
with our boss,
who's no longer here. And I think he made. Well, should we just say it? I don't think that was our choice. He
overrode us. Yeah, it was. It was a 2-1 vote, and we lost. We had 2, they had 1, and we lost.
We had 2, he had 1, but his one's bigger. It was more than our 2.
But
that's how it usually goes, whenever you're working with the boss, right?
Yeah, and then the female athlete of the year for next year is just like you put a bunch of names in a coffee can and spread it on the table and see which one comes up. It's a wide open race next year.
It definitely is, especially when you look at, I mean, the 3 that we were looking at this year, they all graduated. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out this upcoming season. And it's always like that. I mean, I couldn't have told you that Cadence was going to be our athlete of the year at this point last year. I think I would have made an argument for Marley, definitely, because of her prowess in soccer and in track. Sophia Mieta would have been there too. Although I was a little surprised with the powerlifting. I mean, gosh, she went from barely qualifying, 2 years ago to winning her weight class that year. Oh, and apologies to Sophia and her family. We didn't realize this because obviously we hadn't seen the photos or anything, but clearly we used the wrong photo of her when we used it for our state powerlifting championship story. So for that, hey, we're sorry. Unfortunately, that was a mistake on our part, and we got to eat it.
Yeah. Look, another thing from last week was that NMA board of directors meeting on Thursday, which of course they make all the big decisions, but they're not going to sign and seal it and carve it into marble until they send it out to all the schools. And then they want the schools to approve all the drastic changes that are coming up. But next year, this coming school year, which is only 2 months away now, it's going to look dramatically different in a lot of ways. Some sports, the district realignment doesn't really affect a lot of teams. For others, it does. Football, we're going to see a lot of big changes, but more than that is the one-time transfer rule, which is now looks like it's going to become a thing. And so, how is that going to?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be. It's not a foregone conclusion. I'm talking to a lot of ADs and coaches. I think it's going to be very close. I think there's a lot of. I think there's a lot of pushback, especially from the southern schools. As a matter of fact, when you looked at the dissenting votes, the 3 dissenting votes amongst the board, they were all from southern schools. I don't think the southern schools like it or want it for the most part. And I think there are a lot. And again, because of the state or the nature of this state, I'm sorry. You got a lot of small schools and a lot of rural schools, and I think they worry that they're going to lose athletes to the big city, especially those who can afford to go to, say, whether it's Cruces, whether it's Hobbs, whether it's Clovis or Albuquerque, or even Santa Fe for that matter, or even Espanola. I mean, you look at that region right there. I mean, where you've got Penasco, Mesa Vista, McCurdy, Cuesta. I mean, that's an area where you could see a lot of movement, just because you can, it's easy to go, from Espanola to Los Alamos, or from Ojo Caliente to Pewaukee. It's not like it's a huge inconvenience. It's probably at most a 45-minute drive for a lot of kids. I think there are going to be some rural schools that also don't want this because of the impact that it'll have. You look at a bigger school like, say, Santa Fe High or Capital. If you lost one or two athletes, it hurts, but it's not going to drastically change your team. But for, say, a small school like, say, a Pecos or a Mesa Vista or a McCurdy, I lose two guys for the upcoming basketball season. That changes the entire dynamic of my team. And I think coaches don't necessarily like that uncertainty around it. And I think that's partly why you're seeing a lot of pushback. And I think, I talked to, I think Vegas, I think, would be a part of that too. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be like a 51-49, 52-48 type of spread between that. But it's not a foregone conclusion that this is going to come next year.
Well, I think Capital's probably rooting for it to happen, because then what they could do is they could sign a couple of linemen from Goddard and Artesia, come in and block for their quarterback, because that was the Achilles heel for that team last year. Is they couldn't block anybody. And if they had any kind of offense, Capital, a team that actually made the playoffs last year, could become relevant, especially in that, look, the district realignment that's taking place for football is going to change the landscape for everything. Like Santa Fe High is dropping down to 5A. They're in the same district as Capital, and Los Alamos, of course, the returning knuckle-dragging beast. But
don't forget Los Lunas, man. That's
right, exactly.
Far and away the team to beat there. But then you've also got Piedra Vista from Farmington. So that definitely beefed up the northern half of that two-district class.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, because Santa Fe High, just having them in the playoff race again would be interesting. Because, like, it's kind of like what we're seeing with the NBA. You can put any two teams in the NBA Finals, and that's fine. But when the Knicks are in it, everyone gets really excited. I know that hurts you as a Celtics fan, but when the Knicks are in it, everyone gets excited. It's like the city of Santa Fe is just a different feel when Santa Fe High does anything on a statewide level. And so if Santa Fe High can become competitive in a football – look, football is still one of the big money makers. And we can say whatever we want to about the sports and the equilibrium of Title IX, but there's something about football that gets everyone's attention.
Yeah, it is.
Santa Fe High can be a competitor. It changes it.
Yeah, and for once, I mean, maybe they could finally. I mean, this is a crazy stat in my mind. St. Michael's has played at home more in the playoffs at Santa Fe High than Santa Fe High has.
Yeah.
Do you know how many playoff games Santa Fe High has had since 1986? Zero.
Yeah.
Big fat zero. They have not played a single playoff game since 1986 at home. And St. Michael's, they've played the championship game for the 3A championship, 4 times now?
Yeah.
Or 5 times, I think, at Santa Fe High. I mean, shoot. I mean, even if Santa Fe High, played its way into the championship game at home, which is 4 rounds, they still haven't played as many home playoff games as St. Mike's has in their own place. So
see now, look, dude, you just got banned from Santa Fe High for bagging on them.
I know, man. I'm
making a list, and
your name, where all I can do is cover Capital. Okay,
your name's on the list of banned substances.
About Capital for the rest of my life.
Good night. Look, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back and talk about some other things, including a guy that you and I have had in the podcast is now gone from the Santa Fe Fuego. I talked to him the other day just briefly. He's been promoted and rescued from the sinking ship that is the Santa Fe Fuego professional baseball franchise.
But you make him sound like he's a rescue pet or something.
He's a rescue. He was. He escaped the pen. He was walking down the side of the road in a rainstorm. And
somebody just found a stray. Like, oh, hey, look at that guy.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about that and then some stuff with UNM. Let me come right back. It's time for our commercial break, James. We have a commercial break. So
still waiting for my Chevron hat, man. I just want a Trekker's hat. That's all.
If Matt Dulside could somehow float some NIL money our way, maybe we can make this more entertaining. That'd be cool.
I don't even want NIL money, man. Just give me a hat.
Show killer Matt. He's killing. He's holding us down, man.
Exactly.
All right. We'll be right back.
I'm David. I work for Chevron, and this is my New Mexico. Chevron's been here for 100 years. My family could go back even further. All of my brothers work in energy.
I grew up in Farmington, New Mexico. There is a lot to love about New Mexico. We are raising our kids here.
We're here for the long term. I'm paving the way for my daughters so that they feel the same pride in New Mexico.
Here we go. James, I don't know if you realize this, but there's this tournament, the soccer tournament is going on this week, which I didn't know about until Matt Dalside just reminded us of it. It's like, I think it's called the World Cup. Starts this week.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. Not familiar with it at all.
It's a bunch of teams, if they can get visas into the country, they're going to play a bunch of games. And so we'll see how it goes. But the thing about the World Cup that I find interesting is a lot of these games are being played inside domed stadiums. And the storylines are about the turf, about how they have to bring in these pink low lights and they need like a certain type of grass. To me, I'm more interested in the grass than I am in the games themselves because I don't really care about the tournament. But along those lines, I know you got to have a favorite. You got to be picking somebody, right? Who's going to win the whole thing? Is it going to be Ecuador? Is it going to be Uruguay?
Come on, man! It's going to be America. Everybody knows that,
right? Yeah.
Honestly, the go-tos are always like what? Argentina, Brazil, Germany, Spain. I mean, right now, I just did a quick search for odds, and right now the favorite is Spain, followed by France and England. Maybe this is the year finally England wins it all. I mean, they've been so starved to. It's like watching the Canadian teams in Stanley Cup. They're waiting for this, for the cup to come back to Canada, and the England is waiting for the World Cup to come back to its homeland. So I'm gonna go with England just for that just for that storyline.
Oh man, the hooligans would set New York on fire if they did.
Yeah,
they would do that. I'm picking the Netherlands just because I like orange uniforms. I think the color is kind of cool. No other reason.
If you went to one of our fine local establishments around here and laid down a bet, you'd get 20-1 odds right now with the Dutch.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I'd take that. Yeah. What now? I have 2 schnauzers in my house. I should have my schnauzers try to pick, but they're naturally rooting for Germany. So there you go. Your dog Winston? Where's Winston from?
I have no idea. I'm not sure where the origins of Shih Tzus and Maltipoos are. I think he would just go for the team that beats him the most.
Shih Tzu. Now, am I politically incorrect in saying that maybe that be some sort of Asian country?
I don't know. You might you might be a little racist about that. I don't know.
It could be.
Quite honestly, it's like I've done like 23andMe for my ancestry, but I haven't even bothered with Winston.
If you do 23andMe for one of your dogs, you have way too much disposable income. I mean, come on. Don't come to me and tell me you did 23andMe on a dog, and they're like, "Well, he's from Tijuana." That's where
he's
from found him.
Or worse, he actually ends up being from Germany, and your dogs aren't.
Right. Yeah, my schnauzers are from Tijeras on the other side of the mountain.
Tijeras. There you go.
So obviously there's like a watch party here in town. We'll do a story for later in the week because the World Cup is a fairly big deal for soccer heads out there. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I'll keep an eye on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially as we get further along, the pool play, it's fun to watch and everything, but it's a little convoluted sometimes when you're trying to figure out, okay, especially when you get to that to those last round of pool play matches and everything, and you've got teams that literally don't score because they know they're in, or both teams know that they're in, so they don't really play for anything. So they just sit there and kick the ball around for 90 minutes, and then we get with a 0-0 tie.
Yeah.
But then you get those other ones where it's like somebody needs to score 7 goals and have somebody lose by 4 in order to get in. It's almost kind of like watching the World Baseball Classic when we're sitting there trying to figure out how did the U.S. get in after they lost, and it all depended on what was it, the Italy Mexico game where if Mexico scored 5 runs, they were in, or if Italy scored 3, they were in. I was like, after a while, my head was spinning. I was like, It just sounds to me like the U.S. is in no matter what they do. So why are we bothering with this?
It's about TV ratings. That's what they got to do. They're going to find a way to get the United States into the next round, in the knockout round. They have to.
Last time we were in America, somebody got shot and killed for that. So,
why are you getting all
I'm
dark,
just saying, man? Freaking
Yeah. Colombia.
Poor guys.
See, we're making strides on a topic, and you turn around and you just
3 weeks later,
get out your shotgun and blast it. Like, come on.
I know. Way to go, Will. You're the one that put that out there, man.
Well, speaking of the World Baseball Classic, there was a guy on the Santa Fe Fuego who played in the World Baseball Classic this last spring, played for Brazil, Victor Mascai, and he was signed as the big power hitter guy. He's going to left-handed bat. He's supposed to hit 75 home runs for the Fuego. He made it through 4 games, and he got promoted to the Canadian League. He's playing with a team in Canada now, and so first of all, the team doesn't announce that he's leaving. He's just gone from the lineup one day.
He scarcely disappears, like you talked about, just like a stray that just gets picked up somewhere.
Yeah, and then there was a video of all things popped up on my Instagram feed of him playing for his new team in Canada, and he hits this gargantuan home run at a field that looked a lot like Fort Marcy. It went over the fence in the right field, landed on a little league field. You could see the kids scrambling as the ball came, impacts and like shallow left center for the little league field. But no, he's gone. Their best power hitter is gone. But the guy the best pitcher probably the team has ever had is named Tyler Campbell, a kid out of Albuquerque, played at Volcano Vista, played at Alabama A&M of all schools during college, came back. He pitched for the Fuego last year, led the Pecos League in innings pitched, which is astounding because usually pitchers that's
pretty remarkable feat in and of itself. It doesn't matter if his ERA was like close to 10.
Right. I mean,
you're actually able to pitch more than 3 innings there is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So Tyler starts the season 2-0. He got the Fuego their first 2 wins. He only gave up 2 earned runs in those 2 innings, struck out 17 guys. So naturally he got promoted. He got picked up by the Mississippi Mud Monsters in the Frontier League. And he's making his debut for the Mud Monsters tonight against Joliet. I'm not sure if it's Joliet, a team down south, or if that's Joliet
from Illinois.
I'm not really sure, because when I think of the Frontier League, I think of Matt Dulcide's home territory of the Dakotas and Montana,
and Minnesota, and Iowa, all those great and wonderful places.
Yeah, apparently the Frontier League is a lot like conference realignment in the NCAA. It's just everywhere now. So there's teams in Canada in the Frontier League. They're all over the place. But yeah, Tyler, wish him well. I've had him on our podcast. Just a really nice, talkative guy. It's Southpaw, and he does things that no other Santa Fe pitcher has ever managed to do, which is change speeds, throw strikes,
and keep guys off the scoreboard.
Yeah, and do it from the same delivery arm slot every single time. It was like watching a magician on the mound on that kitty litter mound that they've got at Fort Marcy.
Yeah.
So,
well, here's the sad thing. In his 2 starts, he gave up 1 run in both outings, right?
Yeah.
Until Sunday, no others. The Fuego hadn't allowed fewer than 18 runs. Yeah. They lost 5-3 to Roswell, but other than that, I think the fewest runs they'd given up was 17.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh.
Including
17 runs.
Yeah, that 36-8 nail biter they had at Tucson, which is awesome. Yeah.
I love the 28-25 game with the with Grand Junction, where Grand Junction kicked the field goal, in the final seconds to win that game.
Those games end because they basically run out of baseballs. Like, all right, guys, this is the last inning. We've used them all, so we got to cut it off. But it's the same old thing with the Fuego. You and I have been covering that team since their inception in 2012. And outside of a couple of years with Bill Moore as manager, it's like a cartoon softball league score. And every single manager, every single pitcher that comes in the city of Santa Fe is like, well, the secret is you got to keep the ball down. You got to induce ground balls. You got to trust your defense. Like, nah, man,
can't do it.
At 7,000 feet, you're playing on a little league field. You're in for you're going to drink yourself to sleep a couple nights while you're staying there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice part about it is that, you can grab a couple of drinks right upstairs in the concourse while it's happening.
And take your dogs to the game, which is awesome. You can do.
I know.
That's
welcome.
welcome.
Speaking of dogs, you need to take your schnauzers. I need to take Winston, and we just We just need to hang out and watch the fireworks.
Yeah, and then because you're also going to see a lot of runs, so there's that.
Yeah.
And the other baseball team, of course, the Isotopes, the team that I don't think anybody has any idea where they are in the standings. Although the Isotopes are actually pretty good this year for once.
No, they are actually. I think at one point they were leading they were leading the league.
Yeah,
or the division, I should say.
The first half of the Pacific Coast League season ends on the solstice on the 21st. And if you're in first place, you are declared the first half champion. It's not by division, it's the overall league. And if you are the first half champion, you qualify for the PCL playoffs, which is essentially you take on the second half winner, but the first half winner gets to host a best of 3 series. So the Isotopes would not only be in the playoffs for the first time since I think 2014 or 2015, they would host a best of 3. But the problem is they're starting to fade a little bit because
well, right now they're a game and a half behind Oklahoma City. So
and that and it's you're chasing the team from the other division, so you're kind of they have their work cut out for them. But I mean, that'd be kind of a cool thing. I remember the last time the Isotopes were hosting a playoff game. I was there. They played, I believe it was Omaha, and there was no one there because, as opposed to a regular Isotopes game, which are scheduled, promotions and all that stuff. Playoff games are just kind of, we're going to play Tuesday, and
a random Tuesday.
Yeah. And by then, school's back in session. There was about 5,000 people there, and you're in the playoffs. And the thing is, those players don't care because you're past the call-up date for Major League Baseball, and every one of those guys,
no man's land at that point, right?
They want to get the hell out of there. They want to be in the big leagues. They want to be in Denver with the Rockies. They don't want to.
They're swinging to get out, right?
Yeah. So basically, you're filling your roster with guys from Double A and Single A. It's a shadow of itself. So there you go. Hey, but at least one New Mexico baseball team is in the playoff picture. There's that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be interesting to see what happens here over the last week and a half, because that's about how long we've got. We've got about 12 days left in the first half of the season, and we'll see where they go from here. Yeah,
and then this past week, the Lobo football team, which we've got to get Jason Eck on this program, but Lobo football team just unveiled the refurbished Todeem facility. They did a lot of work behind the scenes the last 12 months to essentially kind of modernize the facility, kind of take them to that next step. It's a setup that really no fan is going to see, but when you walk into that building, the main weight room that had always been there, they refurbished that, but they built an amphitheater for the football team, so these guys can come in, get film study. There's a big projector screen. It's a first class setup. That's the kind of thing that's going to help down the road. Jason Eck's not going to be here forever. I think he'll probably be here this next season and go coach in the Big Ten somewhere. But for right now, I'm not sure there's ever been a better time to be a Lobo football fan than this moment right now, because everywhere you look, every projection has the Lobos as the favorite going into next season. And as a potential college football player, as dumb as that sounds, they're a college football playoff contender. If you can win the Mountain West and not get your head caved in by Oklahoma in week 3, they've got a shot to do that.
Yeah, the only downside to all of this is that they may be potentially the only opponent that Texas Tech can schedule.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Yeah. Like, Texas Tech, but they put their thumb on the scales there by finding a judge that allowed their quarterback, who bet on their own games, to go out and find a judge that went to Texas Tech as a big, huge booster, posting for pictures with the mascot. It's like, nice guy. Really nice guy. He
really good guy. Yeah.
Really good dude. Can throw the ball a mile. We need him. So I think the two big things that I love about college football, college sports right now, is people are talking about boycotting the SEC for all the racial injustice that's going on, the gerrymandering that's removing political people from down south. And then 2 is now no one wants to play Texas Tech. You're seeing schools come out left and right saying, no,
not happening. We're not playing them.
Aside from the fact you have to go to Lubbock.
Across the board. I mean, it's like, wow, that's taking a hard stance. But, sometimes that's what happens, man. Sometimes when you win, you lose.
Yeah. No one wants to go to Lubbock, first of all. I mean, come on. Let's be real. And second, they allow you to bet on your own teams, and they'll turn the other way. As long as you can throw the ball really far, that's all they care about.
As long as you can win football games, that's all they care about.
And now last week, the Lobo basketball team kind of did their first public workout, the new modern era of Lobo basketball, because I say that because the contract extension given to Eric Olin, who we've had on this show before, they gave him a huge boost in terms of being friendlier to the media. He has to put himself out there in front of the media a lot more. And so when I walked in there, they were doing a thing at the Davos Center, and I've said this before. I wasn't sure if Eric Olin actually knew what my name was. So I walked in there, and the first thing he said is like, "Hey, Will, how's your summer going?" Like, is there somebody else named Will here? Who you talking? You talking to me? You talking to me? So
you know what it was? It was you made friends with his mom.
Yeah.
You do that, and all of a sudden doors open, man.
Yeah.
He's probably like,
so nice.
You need to talk more to that nice little Will Weber fella. He's a good guy.
His mom is so nice.
So much.
She came up to me. I was just sitting there talking to Eddie Moore, the photographer from the Journal, and she just comes and sits right next to me and asks me if I'm who I am. And she's like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I've always wanted to talk to you in person." Like, really? You have? No one, my own wife won't tell me that. My kids won't even like to talk to me. So it was nice to talk to her and actually get to meet some of the players and see the Lobos for what they are. And there's another guy I want to have on here is Hudson Mays, newcomer that transferred in from UCSD. I think people are going to fall in love with this guy. He's just a really good athlete. But no, it's kind of cool to see the Lobo basketball team up close and personal. Now, we're probably not going to be allowed into practice again until October. But it was just, for that one day, everyone's holding hands. We're roasting marshmallows. Everything was great. So, we need to do. And I know this will our assistant producer for the podcast, who is a New Mexico State graduate or New Mexico State student, which is really unfortunate because New Mexico State. Maybe we should go down to the Aggieville and do something on the Aggies if they'd ever actually return a phone call, because the Aggies don't like us either.
Hey, remember Mario Mochia was actually begging us that he would call us out of the blue, and now it's like we get crickets from them.
Yeah, Mario liked us. We had a good rapport with him, and this new athletic director, we're dead to him. So, just one more reason not to go to Las Cruces, I guess. Am I right?
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So now I'm banned from Las Cruces. You're banned from going to Silver City.
At some point, we're gonna have a book, not just a list of the places that we've been banned from.
Yeah. So that'll put a wrap on this one. Look. If you got any story suggestions, if you're doing your own watch party for the World Cup, by all means, let us know. Because we'll make sure that James gets out and covers it, because I want nothing to do with it, because it's soccer.
Heck no, I'm taking this weekend off, buddy, man. I got some vacation time because somebody's going to be gone for the week of the state or for the Rodeo de Santa Fe.
Yeah, God, that's crazy how
coincidental that was, right?
Vacation time aligned with the Rodeo de Santa Fe. It's weird. I just didn't. That's something. That's a subject for another day, I guess.
It's almost like you planned it that way.
Almost. So, any story suggestions, by all means, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you, and that includes the critical stuff, because we do get a lot of critical stuff too. Any kind of feedback we get from you, the better. So I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks to Matt back in the home office for not cutting us off early. And
James, New Mexico State dig. He needs all the help he can get.
If he could somehow print up some T-shirts for us so we can actually compete with Sports Primo for Athlete of the Week. Yeah, we could do that.
I still like the Dion's Pizza idea, though. That would be cool. I think
it's like
painted shirts.
Yeah, all our best ideas we just throw at Matt and just forget about it. Let him figure it out.
Yeah, Matt's the guy that's got to make it happen. We just throw suggestions out.
Yeah, and then as soon as it's over, it's like, man, whatever happened to that idea I had? What did you do with that?
Yeah, what did you do with it?
So,
oh, nice.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.